my mom, since the moment she decided to uproot her whole world and give us our best chance. So I'm sure many of you yourselves are mothers, grandmothers, mothers-to-be one day, and you've all given up so much for your families, and that kind of sacrifice will have a lasting impact. It will have ripple effects throughout your future generations. And I am standing here before you today as living, breathing proof of what your sacrifice now to move to this country today will mean for your children one day. I myself was only a child when I moved here. I was 11 years old, and my experience with immigrating at such a young age is really through the eyes of a child. So I do not know the intensity of moving a family across continents, but I can speak to what it will be like for your children during that transition and as they grow up in this country. I can tell you that they will be watching you closely. I learned a lot from watching my mom during those hardest years in the early parts of the transition, and those are lessons that only an immigrant mom can teach. I can tell you that it will be confusing for them at times. They will be caught in a cultural dualism, pulled between their cultural roots, but also wanting to adopt Canadian values. It's a dichotomy that we spent decades trying to resolve within ourselves, but your daughters will be resilient because they've seen that in you. They will learn from you like I learned from my mother, that a strong sense of self, shaped by and rooted deeply in our cultural values, can help a woman move mountains and across continents to provide for her family. It will also be challenging at times for them. They, like you, will have to navigate this new world with new cultural practices, new languages, new cultures, and the transition can be especially difficult with you when you have little resources available and no family but your own little unit. But your daughters will be strong because they will see that in you. They will learn from you like I learned from my mother to hold their heads high in times of adversity and rally their courage to face anything that life throws at them because of what they learned from you. And it will also undoubtedly be lonely and discouraging and isolating at times for them too. But your daughters will be determined. They will learn from you like I learned from my mother that hard work and determination are the ingredients to success. And it will be ingrained in them as they watch you work 2, maybe 3 jobs to put a roof over their heads, put food on the table, put them through school. They'll see that, and they will learn. It will be also unbelievably rewarding as they are growing up in a land of freedom and equality. Your daughters will be empowered because they will see it in you. They will learn from you like I learned from my mother. The power of education and the doors that it can open. They will learn to be confident, decisive, and formidable. To seize opportunity when it comes to them because they have watched you overcome adversity and build a life from nothing and leave a legacy for them from nothing. I know that all mothers sacrifice themselves for their children, but immigrant mothers are unique in this way because their sacrifice has taken them across continents, across oceans, away from their networks of support, into unfamiliar lands, and to foreign values. It was this same kind of sacrifice that my mom made for us almost 20 years ago, and it's precisely the reason that in those 2 decades, I've been able to earn an undergraduate degree in commerce from the University of Manitoba, a master's in public administration from the University of Winnipeg, 2 world-class universities that I would never have had access to if it wasn't for my mom. I also have a career in the public sector that I'm passionate about, and it fulfills me while also offering financial sustainability. And I had the freedom to choose a love that transformed my life in ways that I never thought possible. And it's such a source of happiness for me. And this is the life that she made possible the moment she decided to immigrate. Being Canadian has changed my life entirely for the better. And it's arguably the most influential piece of my life story. I'm forever grateful for the sacrifice it took to give me this life. It's a life of opportunity, and even though your children may not show it now because maybe they don't fully understand what you're giving up to give them this life, but one day they will come to understand and respect the hard choices that you had made to give them everything they needed to succeed. I remember during those early days when I didn't fully appreciate the lengths my parents to make our transition easy for us. I would often ask, why, Mom? Why did we have to leave my friends and my family and my island? It was so beautiful. And she would often respond, probably out of exhaustion, that one day, little girl, you will understand and you will thank me. If I knew then what I know now, that all of the opportunities and the doors that opened for me were being pried open behind the scenes by the hard work and determination of my immigrant mother, I wish I could have thanked her then and let her know that every battle she fights and wins, it will make a difference. Sorry, very meaningful to me. Every battle she fights and wins, it will make a difference. It will matter. So on behalf of all of your children who may not fully understand what you're doing for them right now, I'd like to thank all of the strong mothers and grandmothers and future mothers for the sacrifice that you're making. We can never repay you, but we can make sure that your sacrifice isn't in vain. You raised us to be leaders, community builders, change makers, and one day when your children reach their potential and walk through the doors that you have worked so hard to open for them, you will realize that it was all worth it.